Have you checked out Creature Commandos?
No.
I've heard that it was okay, but apparently there was like a thing in it, and I didn't like, because you know how, all right, James Gunn and the DCU right now, it is interesting. They're like everything, how everything is going. It's like the Superman trailer comes out. A lot of people like it. A lot of people don't. It's like 50-50. It's 50-50 with the costume. I don't like the costume. Some people do. Like
These
even
are DC characters?
yeah, the Superman one. The new Superman
Oh,
trailer that came out.
okay.
You saw it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So it's like in terms of how his costume looks, people are kind of split. Some people like it, some people don't. So it's like the Creature Commandos didn't do that great, and it's not really getting that buzz. And then you got Superman coming out. So apparently there was something, since I didn't watch it, there was something that happened in it that all right. And here we go. Don't read too much into the latest DCU Batman reveal. James Gunn kept promising for more silhouette because he's not ready to commit on character details. Episode 6 of the DCU Kickstarter Creature Commando shows Batman standing on a rooftop looking down at crime boss Dr. Phosphorus. The image shows a mega stack cake crusader in his iconic costume, but there's little else that can be discerned about Gunn's take on superhero. Based on comments Gunn issued in Rotten Tomatoes television following the release of episode 6, it is easy to see why this brief look at Batman is so generic. Gunn said he asked for more silhouette after the original Batman on show. Dude, what the hell, man?
On the show.
Yeah, it was more detailed than he was ready to commit at this stage. When they first gave it to me, we saw a lot more Batman, and I was saying I'm not ready to commit to that. I'm not ready to commit to that. Oh, okay. He's repeating himself.
One more time.
One more time, I'm not ready to commit to that. So I was like, more silhouette, more silhouette, more silhouette. What this look at Batman does provide fans with Gunn explain is a clear indication that Batman not only already exists in the DCU during events we're seeing in Creature Commandos and this year's Superman movie, but he is well known within that universe. I think a great way to show that Batman does exist. Oh, I think it's a great way to show that Batman does exist. He already exists in his universe, just like when we came to the Superman movie to see that Superman already exists. He already is known by people in Metropolis. We don't need to hear an origin story again. Yeah, because I think you'll probably screw it up. So yeah, it's just a way to introduce Batman as a part of this universe. He's an important part of this. Damn, he repeats himself a lot, and he's had impact on it, including defeating pretty dangerous, scary people like Phosphorus, who's pretty tough. Gunn then made an interesting comment that suggested the DCU Batman will team up with Superman at some point. This is the DCU Batman. And listen, I got to tell you, I just love Batman. I love him. I loved him since I was a little kid. He's one of my favorite characters. I've gone on a record in the past when I was at Marvel saying my favorite character is Batman. I love him, and we're going to do great things with him. He's the most popular superhero in the world, and I can't wait for people to see more of him along with Superman and together. The question is, what point will we see DCU Superman properly revealed? Will fans have to wait for the Batman the Brave and the Bold movie, which doesn't have a release window, or could Batman make a surprise appearance in another project before then? It could be sometime before we find out, given that DCU's Batman still remains uncast. All right, okay. It's worth noting that the DCU Batman is not the same Batman we see in Matt Reeves' 2022 Batman, played by Robert Pattinson. The sequel, Batman 2, was recently delayed by a year and will now release in theaters on October 1st, 2027, as part of a separate Batman epic crime saga. It's like, I don't know, dude. I do not know. But
He's not going to like cast him in that series, or
no,
he's not going to include him until like later or much later.
I think he hasn't figured out how he wants Batman to be.
Yeah, to write him in there, huh?
Right. So he wants him to be known for the people who are watching this to know that he is known. So he's all right. the way the Superman trailer goes, he's already Superman. He already is in it. Seems like he's in a relationship with Lois Lane. So you look at it like prime Superman and prime Batman. It's supposed to be like the same age, which is about in their 30s, mid 30s, all right, mid to late 30s, something like that. So it gets really weird because Dick Grayson is mid 20s, so he's like maybe 10 years older than 10 years younger than Bruce. But he kind of adopted him, so it's like that's like the whole kind of
Yeah.
weird thing is like so Bruce Wayne has a lot of adopted children. Plus his plus Damian Wayne's, right? So you got like Tim Drake, Jason Todd, and Dick Grayson, plus Damien Wayne's. Then you have, I don't know if he actually officially adopted Signal. So there's a black guy, and then there's Cassandra Cain. I think he adopted her too.
It's gonna be hard to write or like, get the timeline straight.
That is why it's like you don't have to do an origin story, but you can do the story of what happened with Dick Grayson. So you can kind of do his origin story because at that point he was been Batman for a while.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. So that way you don't have to do Batman's origin story, but you can do the lead to, because then you can do that for a little bit, and then and because he's probably maybe 13 or 14, like Dick Grayson wasn't a kid when he was a kid, but he wasn't like, I think maybe he was a preteen, maybe 11 or 12. So then 11 to 12, Batman at that time was probably mid to late 20s. So when he took him in, and then you can do Dick Grayson for 5 or 6 years, then you can introduce Jason Todd and like that, and eventually, but James Gunn decided to skip over all of that and go right to Damian Wayne, and Batman is mid to late 30s at that point. So it depends on how he's gonna do this, because the way that they did it in the original DCU with Ben Affleck, his Batman was like 50. And Henry Cavill, even though Henry Cavill was probably older, I think his was probably maybe 30, something like that. Because they did him growing up. They showed him wandering around. So you figure he still had to go to college at some point. So he's probably like late 20s, maybe 30.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a big difference between their ages. And Batman and Superman are basically the same age. And as far as like the DC canon goes, they're about the same age.
Okay.
So like I used to like they had a comic that came out with called Super Sons, where Damian Wayne.
My friend was in that. My friend was into that. So
yeah, and it was actually a good, nice little comic run. Then they got a guy from Marvel who didn't want to write for children. He didn't want to write children, so he did this convoluted ass way to age up Superman's son to be a teenager.
Oh.
So I think they kind of did some kind of weird thing where Damian Wayans is older now, but somehow Jonathan Kidd didn't get older. It's weird. They look like they're about the same age again. It's like you had something that was working and you just screwed it up because of reasons. Right. It even gets weirder than that. All right. So now Wonder Woman has a daughter, and her daughter is somehow her kid, like it's Wonder Woman's kid, and a combination of Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne's like essence or DNA or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Trinity.
Oh,
So
wow. That's
right,
interesting.
right. So there's now so in the comic, she refers to Jonathan Kent and Damon Wayans. I don't want to keep calling them Wayans. Damon Wayans
You're thinking
as
of the Wayans brothers.
right. I keep saying that. So she refers to them as her brothers because, in a sense, they are. It's like really
Oh,
fucking
wow.
weird, dude. This is
Yeah.
like really, it's really weird.
Convoluted
So,
is the word.
bro, and at different times, Wonder Woman has dated both and has children with both Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent in different universes.
Oh.
Yeah, so there is there's a daughter from Bruce in one universe and a kid from I think a daughter is one a daughter and a son in but different multiverse kind of things. Yeah, DC, like when you look at DC is and look, comics in general, they've been around for a long ass time, so they got all kind of crazy ass stories.
That one is pretty crazy.